Running an online business is hard enough without the stress and time consumption of managing hosting. Whether managing one WordPress site or dozens, Kinsta's managed solutions offer speed, enterprise-grade security, and an intuitive dashboard. With 24/7 365 human-only expert support, get peace of mind that your sites stay online, secure, and performing their best. Start today and get your first month free with migrations handled for you. Learn more at kinsta.com/podcast. That's KINSTA.com/podcast.
On today's Smart 7, mixed messages after Trump calls Putin, NASA astronauts finally return to Earth, and much more. It's Wednesday, 19th of March, it's Poultry Day, and happy birthday, Bruce Willis.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Tuesday saw Work and Pension Secretary Liz Kendall lay out her plan to overhaul the welfare system, starting with a set of measures intended to help people get back to work, while also aiming to save £5 billion by reducing welfare payments. That could affect the incomes of up to 1 million people, and the PIP scheme is expected to be dramatically restricted. The intention is to bring the welfare budget back to pre-pandemic levels, as spending on working-age sickness and disability payments have climbed by £20 billion. Kendall says the aim is to unleash the talents of British people.
Millions of people who could work, trapped on benefits, denied the income, hope, dignity and self-respect that we know good work brings. And taxpayers paying millions more on the costs of failure.
The moves have attracted criticism from disability campaigners, and at least 30 Labour MPs are expected to vote against the plan when it comes before the Commons. Zara Sultana, who lost the whip as a Labour MP over her vote to scrap the two-child benefit cap, says the government are not listening to the public.
How can the government justify pushing more disabled people and children into poverty instead of pursuing fairer alternatives such as a 2% wealth tax on assets over 10 million? Is austerity 2.0 the change people really voted for?
Tuesday saw the long-awaited phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin as Trump made the case for a 30-day ceasefire. There were two very different views of how the call went, with the White House describing a positive call in which Putin agreed to a ceasefire on attacks on energy infrastructure and that talks would begin on Sunday in the Middle East on a path to full and permanent peace. For Putin, however, that didn't seem to be the case, as almost immediately after the call, drones and missiles were launched at Kyiv, and he made clear that any ceasefire would have to mean a total ban on military aid for Ukraine from any source. Zelensky responded, annoyed by a comment from military analyst Michael Clark on Sky News that said if Ukraine weren't at the table, they were on the menu.
I don't want us to be on Putin's menu. We are not salads, we are not compote for this man, despite his appetite. We see what he is like, and that's it. We are an independent state.
Former Trump National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster told CNN that he thinks Trump may have fallen for Putin's cunning plan.
Really what Putin wants to do is break apart the NATO alliance, break apart the transatlantic alliance, and be able to continue his broad effort to restore Russia to national greatness, essentially restore the Russian Empire.
More than 400 people died on Tuesday in a wave of deadly Israeli airstrikes across Gaza. That marked the bloodiest day in the Palestinian territory since the early days of the war in 2023 and signalled that Israel has no interest in any further ceasefire discussions. The intention, according to Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, is that Hamas should feel that the gates of hell have opened and will not close until all hostages are released. The strikes come 2 weeks into a blockade of aid, power and water in Gaza, but Israeli PM Netanyahu was warning that this is just the beginning and that any negotiations will be under fire.
I told you many times that if Hamas will continue to refuse, if it will not release our hostages, we will go back to fighting. And indeed, we have gone back to fighting.
Tuesday night saw the long-awaited return of Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore to planet Earth. The two NASA astronauts left Earth in June 2024 for an 8-day test flight on Boeing's new Starliner capsule. However, things did not go well. The Starliner was plagued with technical difficulties and eventually returned to Earth without any passengers, leaving Butch and Sonny lost in space, or at least the International Space Station. Now, finally, 9 months later, they returned to Earth in a Dragon X spaceship splashing down off the coast of Florida. We'll have more details on their experience in this weekend's episode of of the Sunday 7, but former astronaut Tim Peake says they'll be glad to get a break after a hectic few days.
Final days are very busy. You're trying to wrap up all of your own personal administration, and of course you're preparing the spacecraft for re-entry procedures as well. And for Butch and Sonny, I think it'll be a very nostalgic moment.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, a Carabao Cup hero joins the England squad and Happy Gilmore is back in action. Right after this.
Work management platforms. Ugh, endless onboarding, IT bottlenecks, admin requests. But what if things were different?
We found love in an open space.
Monday.com is different. No lengthy onboarding. Beautiful reports in minutes. Custom workflows you can build on your own. Easy to use prompt-free AI. Huh. Turns out you can love a work management platform. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Welcome back. This week sees the Nations League fire up again on Thursday with Scotland and the Republic of Ireland in action. Friday sees the start of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, and it also marks Thomas Tuchel's first game as England manager. His freshly picked squad will face off against Albania on Friday evening, but there's been some controversy about his squad selection, including the initial absence of Nottingham Forest captain Morgan Gibbs-White. He's definitely picked Newcastle Carabao Cup hero Dan Burn, though, who is delighted to get his first international cap and says he won't be celebrating Newcastle's win until after the England game.
There will be time to celebrate. I know that the clubs put stuff out about there being a parade, so I think that's when I'll celebrate. But at the moment I knew that I'd waited a long time for this opportunity and I didn't want to spoil it.
There's a new Netflix drama that has everybody talking, and it's called Adolescence. It's a unique 4-part drama, each episode of which is shot in a single take, and it comes from the brilliant Stephen Graham, who also co-wrote it with Jack Thorne. It focuses on a schoolboy arrested for murder, but it covers knife crime, online misogyny and radicalisation, and has an absolutely brilliant cast including newcomer Owen Cooper. Star and writer Stephen Graham told Virgin Radio that he's very proud of what he and his crew have created.
Each single person is integral to the piece, like that lovely little bit where she goes out the room and she has a conversation with the fella that's just let her into the gaff.
Yeah.
You know, his role was integral.
Yeah.
Every single actor is integral, and the crew were phenomenal.
We're only weeks away from this year's Masters Golf, so what better time to release a new trailer for Happy Gilmore 2? Adam Sandler is back as the unconventional golf genius after a short break of nearly 30 years, and he's brought most of the original cast, including Julie Bowen, Ben Stiller and Christopher McDonald as Shooter McGavin. And with perfect timing, the new trailer even features new Players' Championship winner Rory McIlroy. It's due to drop on Netflix in July.
I haven't swung a club in years. I'm a little intimidated. All these guys hit it big now. I don't know where to start.
Come on, brother. Grip it and rip it.
I guess I need to update my happy place to something a little more age appropriate.
You've been listening to the Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Strap in. You're in the race with F1 TV Premium. See what the race director sees with custom multi-view. Watch every jaw-dropping moment in live 4K UHD. Across up to 6 screens, uninterrupted. Experience ultimate live immersion with F1 TV Premium. Available on selected devices.